After integrating your CRM with Leadfeeder, you'll start to notice a lot of additional functionality that is there to help you to see what is going on with a particular lead within your CRM, as well as to give you the ability to send new leads into the CRM for your team members and colleagues to follow up. In this video, we'll do a brief tour of the primary functionality that you unlock by having a CRM enabled, and we'll cover some of the most frequently asked questions around it as well. In this example, we're looking at Dynamics 365, but we also integrate with a number of the other popular CRMs in the form of Salesforce, Zoho, Pipedrive, and HubSpot. Within any lead, when a connection is made to the CRM, you'll see that a logo will appear against it for the particular CRM that you use, which is the signifier to suggest that that connection has been made. Once you then click into that lead, you'll start to see a few things pop up immediately. So straight away here, we have this sort of heads up display showing you what is happening with this particular lead at the moment. So we can see that we have within Leadfeeder a couple of visits, last seen 2 months ago in this example, but then we don't have any tasks in the future. We actually have one task overdue by a long time, and we have no open opportunities. We can see who owns the account as well. If we scroll down to the CRM section itself, we can see a little bit more detail around what's happened here. So obviously we have a simple example task here, but any tasks that are associated with this particular organization, this particular account within the CRM will appear here, be they open or closed. And on the right-hand side, you have the ability to create a new task if you'd like to. And the same principle applies to opportunities, where again, here, you can create a new opportunity if you'd like. And in the event that you create either, they'll be sent into the CRM for you to follow up there. You can also create comments and send those comments into the CRM as a note on the account level as well. So if you spot anything, for example, in the visit behavior that would suggest to you that this is a really interesting lead, or they have a particular use case as demonstrated by them browsing something on your website that you think you could craft a reasonable follow-up sales message for, you may wish to drop that as a comment to yourself or to a colleague as a starting point for them in their sales process with this lead. That's a bit of a summary of what appears upon an individual lead, but the logical next question is, what should we do with this information and how should we follow it up? Now, there will be other videos within the Academy covering how to view this visit information, how to interpret it, when to know when to follow up a lead, how to follow up a lead, etc., etc. But for the purposes of this video, just as a quick summary, by looking at the visit information, by looking at these signifiers here to suggest how many different individuals are visiting the site, what they're interested in, what might be the logical next step in the sales process, that should give you an indication of whether or not this is an interesting lead, and then should prompt you to take an action down here with, for example, creating a new task or creating a new opportunity or sending a comment over to somebody to follow the lead up. Outside of the individual lead, you also have some functionality in terms of being able to send a number of leads simultaneously into the CRM. So this is done through the mechanism of a custom feed. So here, for example, if you'd like to send leads that were created by the feed that you go on to create. So let's say for the sake of example, you choose to create a feed for all of the leads coming from the UK. And you'd like to send those across to your CRM, you can do so by going across to automation, choosing Center Dynamics, clicking configure, and then completing these options here, clicking apply, add automation, and save feed. And then after that process is complete, all new leads will drop off into the CRM for you to follow up. You also have underneath filters, the ability to filter on CRM specific information. For example, who owns a given account or a given lead or a given opportunity, where it came from in the first place. If it's a Leadfeeder lead, for example, that was subsequently turned into a lead within your CRM, and tasks as well. So you can use a combination of these filters to say, for example, create a feed for all leads owned by a given member of your team within Dynamics that has an opportunity at a late stage in the pipeline and an open task or no open task. That can then prompt that member of the team to look at those as a priority, follow them up, hopefully turn those into real deals for you. If a lead doesn't yet exist within your CRM, you can click on that particular lead. You'll see here noted against it that it's not been found in the CRM, and you can choose down here to effectively create it within the CRM by choosing connect to an account or a lead, depending upon what you'd like to create. Two final things to cover on this whistle-stop tour of CRM integrations. Firstly, you'll see that there is a My Open Opportunities feed over here. This will appear for any of the CRMs that you integrate, just with maybe slightly different terminology, but the same principle will apply, where for the individual member of your team who has a Leadfeeder account, as well as an account within their CRM, a match is done in the background by Leadfeeder, and then a feed is created for them that shows leads that have visits within this period of time that you've chosen here, and corresponding opportunities owned by that member of the team. So that can be a really powerful starting point for that member of the team to start their routine based upon open opportunities within the CRM already that also have recent visits, which would suggest a high level of buyer intent that salesperson can then adequately follow up. Finally, we can see that there is a suggested CRM matches feed here. If we click on the box, we can see that we're looking at only companies that have been automatically matched but not completed in the form of the match. So we can see here it's been matched but not connected. And here we can see why. There are multiple different leads with the same name within the CRM. And what we need to do now is to confirm a lead match so that Leadfeeder can know which one to effectively send information to in future and which one to pull information from, so that we'll be able to see here who owns this lead, what opportunities exist against it, and what tasks exist against it, and then have the ability, as we saw before, to create new tasks and opportunities as well. If you don't use Dynamics, if instead you use one of the other CRM systems that we integrate with, all of the functionality is nearly identical to this. The changes are usually only in the form of terminology. So some CRMs use the word opportunity, some CRMs use the term deal. But what happens in the background and how to use this functionality to unlock most value will remain consistent. In other videos in this series, you will see more bite-sized versions of some of the functionality that we've talked about in this video, and you can use perhaps those shorter videos to form a process around how you use the CRM integration with Leadfeeder.